That might have been the most bummed out I've been by a celebrity death.
Me too, dude. I had to, like, I was working like this sad remote sales job, and I was working from home while visiting Austin like 2 years ago. And it was like the middle of the day. It was like 1 p.m. I was supposed to be working, and I just stopped working and like literally like sat on my friend's couch and just like stared at the ground like for like 3 hours. And I was so sad, and I just didn't go back to work.
Yeah, dude. Him and the fucking Mac Miller. Those are probably the only two celeb deaths
I
I'm bummed about.
Yeah, that one was fucking out of nowhere. That was a real bummer. I'm trying to think of who else bummed me out. That's really it.
Yeah.
For celebrities. I'm trying to think of who's next who'd really get me. That was like the one guy who like I knew would kill me like when he died. I did meet Norm though. Did I tell you I met Norm?
No.
Dude, it was really odd. He was he was in Dania Beach doing a casino because he was like he loved gigs. He was a gambling addict.
Yeah.
So he would do gigs in casinos. So I go all the way from Florida or from Orlando down to like South Florida, like Dania. It's basically Miami. It's like a 4-hour drive, and me and my buddy Jarrett go down and see him, and we're so stoked. And the fucking, first of all, like, the crowd is instantly horrible. They were like the worst crowd I've ever been. It was a Casino Miami crowd. They were horrible.
That was a perfect storm for a
terrible dude. They're screaming at him. They're yelling at him the whole time. Dude. They're like weekend update. Like they're just yelling out his
credits.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He goes, "What do you guys?
Dirty work."
Yeah, dude, dirty work. There's a guy who kept yelling dirty work, right? And Jarrett goes, "Hey, could you please stop doing that?" And it was like a huge buff guy, and he turns around and goes, "I'll fucking kill you."
Okay.
And Jarrett goes,
heckle away.
Carry on. And then it was like a brutal show. He didn't really give a fuck about it. He did all this material I never heard anywhere else, too, which was like kind of amazing, but it was also horrible because he couldn't even really get it out without like dealing with it. It was sucked. And then afterwards, his opener, like saw us like lingering around, and he was like, "You guys want to meet Norm?" And we're like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, we want to go meet Norm." So we go in the back, and he's like smoking a cigarette, eating pasta in the green room, and he was just talking about random comedy stuff and just being like really quiet and like stoic and like kind of weird, you know?
Yeah,
just quiet. And then we didn't, and then I felt like a dumbass because I was surprised. I was surprised so many people yelled "dirty work." I would think that's like, you know, like not like a huge reference for people. And he was like, "The fuck does that mean?"
You said that?
Yeah.
Dude, people kept yelling at your movies. I didn't know people fucking watched it.
I know, dude. I was like, I'm gonna myself. Yeah, I was like, that was so stupid, dude.
Dude, they were heckling you, and I was like, who the fuck has seen Dirty Work?
And well, because I thought it was like
losers heckling with that.
Was it a blockbuster? Like, no, like it wasn't, right? I mean, I don't know.
I figured you'd have the self-awareness to insult the man movie.
I know, my favorite comedian ever.
You insulted his movie to his face.
I didn't mean to.
After he spent an hour getting heckled, you were like, the funny thing about those heckles is talking about your irrelevant career accomplishments.
I felt like such a piece of shit. And he goes, well, he was like kind of nice about it, and he was like, no, you know, he goes, I go, because like I only knew him really from like stand up.
Yeah,
like I knew him from me doing stand up when I saw that it came out in like 2011.
Yeah,
when I saw that, it like changed my entire life. Like it was just like this perfect. To me, it's one of the arguably the best special of all time is me doing stand up, and so I told him I knew him from that and not like his movies, and he's like, yeah, you know, people really don't know me from, you know, the stand-up. They just know me from Saturday Night Live and Dirty Work. I was like, oh, okay. You know, that's like, and then he just kept eating pasta. And then he goes, I'm going to go gamble. You guys want to go gamble? And we're like, yeah, we want to go gamble. So we all load up into like this Uber, and the fucking opener was trying to be like cool and funny, and he was like talking to the Uber driver. He goes, hey, you know, Uber driver, you know where we can get some blow, get some coke, huh? We're in Miami, we should get some coke. He's like trying to mess with the Uber driver, and the Uber driver's this foreign guy. And he goes, I can get you Coca-Cola. And then Norm started howling, laughing. It was like the funniest thing he'd ever heard. He goes, he turns around to them and goes, Coca-Cola! And then he started singing Sweet Caroline but he made it about like going to the gallows. It was very bizarre. He started singing Sweet Caroline, and he was like, Sweet Caroline, you're gonna hang for what you did. Sweet Caroline, you murdered a man with a knife. And he kept singing about like fucking the gallows. And then I played blackjack with him, and he just silently lost like $3,000. It was very strange.
It's such a funny Norm story.
Yeah, it's just a bizarre.
We did a terrible show. I insulted him.
Yeah.
He smoked cigarettes and ate pasta.
Yeah.
He sang a really creepy song.
Yeah.
And then I watched him blow
$3,000 or something.
It might have been his crippling addiction.
Yeah, he was just like, he set out, I think it was either $300 or $3,000, which is a big difference. But I remember he was like, this is all I'm going to gamble. And then he lost it all like pretty quickly. like in 30 minutes he lost all of it. And he was like, the opener was like, oh, you gonna get more money and gamble? He goes, no, I fucking lost it all. He was like so pissed. He goes, I'm not getting any fucking money. I just lost every bit that I was gonna gamble with. No. We left. Yeah, it was right when his book came out too, so we talked about his book a little bit.
What was his book called?
Based on a true story.
I like that.
Not a memoir. You read it?
No, I like the title.
It's right there. It's my favorite book.
There we go.
Yeah. I love that book.
It's my favorite book under it, Stupid White Man.
Dude, I read that. That's the only book I've ever read twice in my entire life.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's still
Based on a
great.
true story?
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, it's just like a fake memoir with the most ridiculous, funniest stories you ever. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, he's the best, dude. He was the best.
Shout out Norm.
Shouts out to Norm. I think he
R.I.P.
died like 2 years ago in October.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, no.
No, September.
2 weeks ago.
September, yeah.
2 years ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I like the move of just not telling anybody you have cancer.
Such a baller thing.
Such a baller move, dude.
Yeah. And
Love
hearing him
that.
talk about it, too, like on other things where he would talk about, like, he goes, if I did, he was doing an interview with Chris Hardwick, and he was talking about how it's not brave to, like, I think he was sneak diss in Tignataro, and he was talking about how it's not brave to, like, mention your cancer diagnosis or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, if I did have a diagnosis, which maybe I do, then I would not tell anyone. I would hope I would not profit from my own illness.
That's great.
And he was like, everybody gets cancer. It's boring.
Shots fired at Tignataro.
Isn't that crazy?
Shots fired.
He said everybody gets cancer. It's boring.
That's
or
so
something like
true.
that. I'm like, Jesus.